This is the book of Revelations, chapter 6. Go straight to the point, verse 6, and it reads, And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, all glory to Ko Elohim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Chakodesh Bakatham. I said double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. Say shalom to the Akim and the Akwath out there listening and learning, Lord willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad, and other nations appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. It's your brother Yahweh Sap out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant. Coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. This lesson is in regards to pretty much an article. Now I brought out this Revelation chapter 6 because when you go into Revelation chapter 6, it talks about the seals being open, and then you had your four horsemen. And you had different representation, different color horses represented different things. And it says when he opened, verse 6, it says, and I heard a voice. Well, it says, verse 5, it says, and when he opened the third seal, I heard a third beast say, Come and see, and I beheld a low black horse, and he had set on him, had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny. So when you go to the word penny in the Greek is denarius, which when you break that down, it was pretty much like the day's wage of a Roman soldier at that time. So we all know what wheat is, and it's saying a measure of wheat for a penny. So the inflation is going to get so bad to the point where it's going to take a day's wage to buy a loaf of bread. Now we haven't even hit hyperinflation yet. I know everyone that subscribes to this truth, has come across some kind of video where somebody complaining or speaking on the highest prices of these goods. But we haven't really even seen anything yet. These things took place in the past, and these things. Brother was bringing that out at camp, which is cold because he was saying how the Most High God works in cycles. Everything is on like a cycle. You might have had a very deadly storm back in the 70s, and then we don't see that same storm again until 50 years later, because everything's on like a circuit, or a cycle. Where's that in? I know it's in the Apocrypha. It talks about the Most High's judgment is as a ring, So, things are, just like with the reincarnation, which, the Lord got to be dealing with you for you to be able to accept that. But, when you really take time to really, think about it, that's what makes the most sense out of everything, So, again, times are going to get so hard that it's going to cost a day's wage to buy, your daily bread, and you got people struggling now. Then it says, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and wine. And basically, the oil and wine represents this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So you can't hurt this truth because it's all prophesied for these things to come to pass. So this lesson was inspired by an article I was saying about Amazon, and this book out of Slaki. This is out of Fortune, and it says Amazon raised warehouse wages to $15 an hour 5 years ago. Today, half of workers surveyed told researchers they struggle to afford food or rent. So, I remember when they brought Amazon to, our city, which, of course, is Amazon's, throughout all 50 states. But I remember when they brought it to our city, and everybody was talking about, oh yeah, the wages, that's a livable wage, that's a livable wage. And I know the Lord is laughing at us now, because although it seemed like a livable wage, now that same wage is not as livable because of the inflation. And, that was a tactic that Satan used, what I mean? I remember people speaking on this, it's funny how, certain information comes to you And at the time, I had no understanding why I kept on hearing certain things. But they said once you know people are allowed to get $15 an hour, the economy is gonna be fucked up. And Lord and behold, the economy's fucked up. A $20 an hour job isn't the same today as it was, um, you know, 5, 10 years ago. You know, I often tell a guy at this new job I got. He worked at this job for 20 years and then retired, and he was telling me about when he first started with the company, how much he made, and it's just showing you how this fiat currency is so fucked up. And I remember when I came across some paperwork or something, of my dad's wages. I guess when he went to court, with my mother, child support or whatever, and they showed his wage. And my dad worked for the government. He worked for the post office, so he had what you consider a good paying, great job. And it was like he was making like $5 an hour. It was either 5 or 7. I can't recall. But I do know I was like, damn, you know what I mean? But at that time, $7 was able to afford a lot. That's why you could get a Snickers for a nickel and shit like that. And now you paying $1.50 for one because the money is waxing cold. The money system is pretty much, the money is not really worth anything. It takes more to get things because the lesser value it has. And when these brick nations pretty much unleash their currency, it's going to really affect the dollar. It's been affecting it to a degree, but we really about to see because of the fact, the way this monetary system is created. I'm gonna bring on a little bit of the article. Then I got precepts. I ain't trying to do this or be too long winded with it. So it says, Amazon raised warehouse wages to $15 an hour 5 years ago. Today, half of workers surveyed told researchers they struggle to afford food or rent. An Amazon associate works to ship out same-day orders during Cyber Monday at the same-day delivery facility fulfillment center on November 27, 2023. Says 5 years after Amazon.com Incorporated raised wages to $15 an hour, half of warehouse workers surveyed by researchers say they struggle to afford enough food or a place to live. That's some bullshit. They won't let you read it. That's some bullshit. Slovakia. I should have checked the article out, but I didn't. So I found another article similar with a less of a title, a shorter title. It says Amazon workers say they struggle to afford food and rent. It says, I read that part pretty much. It says the national study published Wednesday by the University of Illinois Chicago Center for Urban Economic Development asks U.S. employees about their economic well-being, including whether they skip meals, went hungry, or were worried about being able to make rent or mortgage payments. 53% of respondents reported that they'd experienced one or more forms of food insecurity in the prior 3 months, and 48% experienced one or more forms of housing insecurity. Workers who said they took unpaid time off after getting hurt on the job were more likely to report trouble paying their bills, the researchers found. It's not necessarily that Amazon's outletter, said Sanjay Pinto, who co-authored the study with Beth Gutalis. Still, they're certainly not taking the lead in creating family-sustaining jobs. And then the cold part about it is they did all that, and then eventually they're going to replace, these individuals that's working there at these fulfillment centers with robots. I forgot who was bringing it out, but I know it was an article that was saying that Amazon pretty much has like 750,000 robots just on standstill, on standby. So what is about to take place that they're gonna be like, is it going to be another P Dizzy where nobody can move around, or is it just going to get to the point where it will be, more profitable just to pay a robot as opposed to an individual? Con. So, again, you got to remember these people have a plan and it affects you and I and everyone, you know, because in their mind, they see the world being governed a particular type of way. And one of the things that the Lord was going to use or bring or put in a spirit to try to use is, that beast system, the creation of that beast system, which would be, everything automated and a system where you would be able to be monitored and tracked, you know, in real time at all time, 24/7. So the Lord is going to allow for these devils to crash the system. You know what I mean? In order to bring in the new system, which will require you to have a charagma implanted to your skin, you know, which we call the MOTB, And like I said again, no, it's no new thing under the sun. You know, this is considered, Sodom and Egypt, but ancient Egypt also, the money failed. And these devils, it tells you in the scriptures they basically committed a diligent search. So they've read the scriptures, they know the scriptures. That's why they go search out things and find them. You know what I mean? Yeah. I remember when I was in the workhouse years ago, when I was first coming into the truth and dealing with my demon, I had came up on so many books that I could have brought to the camp, and man, and this bitch was so much of a demon. It was like a demon was, because they had book, and I was able to get access to the books because they was tearing down the facility. They tearing down this shit. They didn't want that shit. People taking shit, all that. So I came out of there. I'll never forget. Lady, look at me. I came in there with nothing. I came out there with a big ass bag. She's like, "That's all yours?" I said, "Yep." She said, "Okay," because they didn't care. And I'm talking about. I had a book I found in there. It was talking about the expedition where they found the Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat. You know what I mean? And this bitch threw away all these books. But the point being is, this devil literally will go search something out, but he doesn't have faith. You know what I mean? This man thinks he's a god upon himself, and that's all the delusions that the Most High, placed before him. The scriptures talk about that. The Most High shall just choose your delusions. Going for 2/3 and these heathens and these peons to Esau Edom. You know what I mean? The Most High is called the King of Terrors for a reason. But, again, the only way to bring in a new system is to collapse the old one because people don't really like change. And this is going to be a devastating change. So it's going to come with a lot of pain. You know what I mean? Like birth. That's what scripture referred to these times we're coming into as birth pains. And what's the most painful thing a human being is supposed to? That they say that a human being can experience is birth. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 47, and I'm gonna start at verse 13, and it reads, "And there was no bread and there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine." So the Most High, He creates times where there's famines. Again, like I was speaking to the brothers making mention of the Lord works in cycles. It's certain times where it's more plentiful with food. Certain times it's least plentiful or less plentiful. And we're in some of them times now. People barely have money. You ain't been getting a lot of yielding crops. They've had some bad planting seasons within the last couple of years. And what people don't understand is, it's not some years, like say, like they stockpile shit. But you know what I mean? But when you really go check out these grocery stores and you're looking at the quality of this produce, like when you buy grapes one day and then a day later they're already wilting, that means that's old stuff. That's old food. So who's to say that we got, those reserves, the food reserves like you think? It says, and Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt. Now, Joseph was a son of Isaac. What's Salakia? Yeah, Joseph was the son of Israel, Salakia, which who Israel was the son of Isaac. Yeah. So, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But with that being said, Israel pretty much, because when you go through the count, Joseph pretty much, had 11 siblings. And that's where you get your 12 tribes from. And Joseph was pretty much, what's the word? He was favored from his father, so his brethren were pretty much jealous of him, and they sold him into servitude. But this was all ultimately the plan of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And at one point in time, I remember hearing, the accounts, as especially younger, and couldn't fathom it and understand it. But then when you understand, like, ultimately, like, your pain is designed specifically for you, because that's what helps mold you into the individual Most High wants to create. All of our experiences are preordained or preset up to make you who the Lord wants you to be. I just pray that I'm someone righteous. You know what I mean? You got wicked people that don't realize they wicked. It says, and Joseph gathered all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought, and Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. So when he was sold into servitude, the Lord utilized certain situations to put him in an elevated state. He was pretty much made to be like the viceroy of Egypt. So he was like second command of the Pharaoh, because the Pharaoh trusted him so much. Because, he gave him great counsel. He just was, that ultimate, he just was a blessing to the Pharaoh, put it like that. So, he was elevated, but being that he was made or put in an elevated state, that allowed him to help his people. Like when you go into the book of Esther, Esther had favor with the king, so she was allowed to help her people. So the Lord used her to help his people. Which is deep. Verse 15, the point. And when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. So just like the money failed then, the money's falling now. That's why it's costing so much to get these goods. Let me see. It says, the book of Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 1. Because this is our job as those that have been blessed to be given the eyesight to see what's going on. Our job is to watch and to basically, tell and warn the people. This is the book of Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 1, and it reads, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. Salakia. Damn. It says, verse 2, and the Lord Yahweh shall answer me and say, write the vision, meaning the prophecy, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So it's multiple prophecies in the scriptures, and this is one of them, which we're living through right now. Verse 3, for the vision, the prophecy is yet for a appointed time, because all the prophecies are appointed a specific time to come to fruition. Even our Lord and our Savior, our big brother, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, he's appointed a specific time to return. And that's at the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Yahweh Abanawa, our Father, Yahweh. He exists, he to be. It says, for the vision is yet for a appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and will not tarry. So although it looked like it's stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, although it looked like they may not come to pass, it's going to come to pass. You just got to wait and be patient. Verse 4. And the true believers, they're going to do that. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. And who's that talking about? They're talking about Esau Edom, because he is, basically the culprit behind all this. It tells you in the book of Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who controls this earth? These banksters. I found that out when you go into lobbyists and all that. You know what I mean? You talk about it's not even the politician, it's the bankers. Because what did Meyer Amschel Rothschild say? He said, "Give me a control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes their laws." Roughly paraphrased. So he know that and it's enough scriptures about how money can corrupt. You know, it's scriptures that talk about money as a defense. You know, but at the same time, it tells you also in the scriptures that they shall cast their gold and silvers in the streets. So we come into a time when we are truly about to be tested. So it says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith." Who are the just? That's another name for the Lord's elect. The righteous, the meek. So when the Lord, because basically this is ultimately a test. When the Lord pretty much, allows this system to be, basically cut off, and you start to see the judgments of Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, plainly, it says the just that throughout all of these things is going to still live by his faith. He's still going to believe. Verse 5, it says, "Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine," meaning his philosophies. "He is a proud man." Yeah, he is a proud man. They make America great again. Although the Lord say, "I'm going to tear it down." They say, "We going to build up." The Lord say, "I'm going to tear it down, but you're going to make it great again regardless what the Lord said. Yeah, but people can't see that this has got to be this got to be these Edomites. Just look at his character. Listen, pay attention, like what he says, how he moves. It says, "He is a proud man, neither keeper at home." He not at home now. Ain't they involved in 2 other country shit going on right now? Well, more than that, because they fucking with China. They fucking, you know what I mean? It says, "Who enlargeth his desire is hell," meaning he can never be satisfied. He's covetous and is as deaf and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth onto him all people, because he wants everybody up under a specific type of mindset and system. This man is antichrist, so he gonna want you to be antichrist. We was just bringing that out of camp. When you take the time to think about what Jake, 2/3 of our nation, when what they actually accept that Esau pushed, it's all death. Like I said, the diet, he'll tell you forsake something natural to go get something. I was just talking to somebody about that. I'm telling the person, like, it's different herbs you could use for, arthritis, because I guess they had carpal tunnel. And they like, "Oh, I'm just going to go get this surgery." And I'm like, well, you do know once they cut on you, you're never the same. It's like, and just Jake so, like, just like bastardized, like they just like that sound crazy to them. Instead of just trying to try something actually natural, you just go straight. It says, "And cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe unto him? And say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay." Right. And when you go into that word clay, it's pretty much abatya, and it goes into pretty much like heavy debts. So this monetary system is a debt-based system. Basically it's like witchcraft for real. Because when you take time to think about why wouldn't it be? Why it's really cold how the Lord did it when you really got the understanding of it. Like, damn, the system was created off of fraud. So why the system is going to be easy to manipulate to crash. That's why certain things like gold and silver, precious metals, that do retain a value, are still likened onto wealth today. Yeah, they got other, like, I listened to this one guy named Johnny Bravo. He always talking about, yeah, gold, physically having gold and just moving gold with numbers. And but you know what? This guy be saying certain shit. He can see it. He see something about to go down. He, you know what I mean? Like, he be trying to sell you some shit. He bring some truth out. I don't know if you're agent or not, but I do know this. He always talking about this is the end of the world. And with that being said, you know what I mean? If this, I don't know if he Jake or a heathen. He look like a heathen, but his personality, how Jake be loud and shit. He like that. So, long story short, though, if this individual can see this, why can 2/3 not? Because it's not meant for them to see it. But something definitely is coming. You know what I mean? Like, the system wasn't set up to sustain this forever. It was set up to bring in a particular result. This is the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. And I'm going to start at verse 1. And it reads, But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So, everybody, again, bring me back to the beginning of the article, because, it was saying how, Amazon started these $15 hour jobs. And, everybody just thought that was such a blessing. And now, in actuality, look, that same job ain't affording you be able to literally take care of your household, So, and that's how peace and safety, and that was suddenly, you know what I mean? Because just like I said, when they started, they, some of the most arrogant people, especially the nigga woman, she got a job at Amazon. You couldn't tell this bitch shit. She seeing 600 a check. She getting most of her taxes back. But you get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, now everybody taking a beat. That shit hilarious. Sudden peace and everything peace and safety, then sudden destruction suddenly come. This is the book of 1 John chapter 2. And I'm gonna start at verse 15, and it reads, Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. Verse 17, the point. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. So, again, this monetary system about to pass away. We all see it, And if you can't see something, it's just, even if you don't like subscribe, know anything about none of this, just by just being a spiritual individual and you just looking at the way the world is today and how it was 5 years ago, we're gonna keep on using that number. At the end of the day, if you can't see the dramatic change that's taking place, I don't know what the Lord purpose for you to be here. You know what I mean? Like, I know some people just extras and whatnot, but like brother brought out at camp, you what, like, man's existence is you gonna question how did you get here? Yeah. And if you know what I mean, and you got some people that, acknowledge this, acknowledge that, but, everybody doesn't want to acknowledge Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And that's gonna be detrimental to your salvation, flat out. It's just spiritual because the elders and a couple of brothers been going into the importance of the name. Acts 4:12 says, "You by no other name can you be saved." You think it's coincidental that we pretty much just got the name? And then all this crazy shit start happening. I don't think that's coincidental. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff in my life, but I've never seen some of the shit going on now. And then, like I said, it's not by happenstance that I got the name right before it. You got some people that refuse the name. You got some people that sit up there don't want to give their name to people that actually trust and follow them. And that's why you got scriptures like Jeremiah chapter 23 and, beware of the false pastors and, what I mean? So I mean to digress because people like that, that's being deceitful and conniving, that means that they still have lust of the world. They're doing these things to continue to hold on to what they have, or because most people don't want to lose nothing. In this thing, we give up the things on this side because we know we're going to receive abundance on the other. And if you can't even look past, like I said, because, even brothers might buy an extra can of soup here and there, but we don't trust in that shit. That's why it's important to have the trust of the brotherhood. You know what I mean? Well, not to look a certain kind of way in another brother's eyes. You know what I mean? Because, what I mean? Like I said again, we supposed to see how shine each brother. You see the world and these people in the world. You know what I mean? When they get doing that cutthroat on, I'm trying to, that's the world. You know what I mean? You just see the same cutthroat shit that's in the streets in a job. So just imagine that mentality coming into this day of Jacob's trouble, and the mindset of American, mindset that taught you all just get it, chase the bag, get it out, whatever it means, and all that other shit. I'm gonna end it with this because at the end of the day, you're gonna have even worse than that. Because, like I said again, Amazon's laying people off. So the Lord really, giving them what they deserve for real. I hate this app. So I'm gonna end it with this. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6, and I'm gonna start at verse 19, and it reads, "Lay not up your Salakia." It says, "Lay up not." Salakia, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. Everybody's so focused on what's, and it's cold how the Lord really doing it, because you setting like stress and all these things play a part in a lot of stuff. So you got people all stressed out but still trying to hold on to the little shit they got. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's deep. You know what I mean? So yeah, tension's gonna be high, and there's gonna be a lot of judgment. You got people suffering now. You know what I mean? That's why, like, really, real talk, you really need to. This is the time to be locked in on Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And I'm even noticing how Satan uses sending little shit. You know what I mean? Like, so just remember what's the point of this. You know what I mean? The point of this is to see the end of this corrupt ass system. To hopefully receive mercy so we can get a seat on that chariot. Or, just seeing the downfall of this motherfucking wicked ass Edomites kingdom, you know what I mean? Because like I said, even Edomites realize if the world keep going on like this, you had, it's so much shit going on. You'll be a fool to be solely invested in the world. Like, it's coming out with what motherfuckers got to do to have anything in the world. And even if you're not on a high level or status as some of these celebrities, you still, there's some manipulation and all kind of shit going on. Yeah, like I said, in every facet of this fucked up ass place. So like I said, again, you need to be focused on Yahweh Shem Yahushua and not the world. Verse, it says, verse 21, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." So whatever the fuck you give a fuck about the most is what you gonna put your time and efforts and your attention to. That's why the scriptures, the word, wisdom, the Holy Spirit is likened unto a woman. Because and all brothers that have had women, especially in this truth, women require attention. And not like a little boy or a dog where you could, and even dogs, you know what I mean? Like, dogs will depending on what kind of dog, you know what I mean? Like my point, I just realized what I did. But what I'm saying basically is everything's required time. I heard the elder Yashawamba quote something. I know it's a quote, and he said it had to be about pretty much what you put your give your attention to is basically going into what you give your attention to is what or was it the one where you say like you got two spirits you could feed, a righteous one and a wicked one, you know what I mean? So your attention is given to the one that you feed the most or something like that. Yeah. If you encompassed in doing righteous works, you got less of opportunity to do wicked ones. Verse 22: the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. So the eye of the body, it's like the light of the body is the eye. So meaning what you focused on. So the light of the body should be this truth, this word, this knowledge, this wisdom, this spiritual understanding, this work. So we must be single-eyed towards this purpose. Because like I said again, we coming into some crazy ass times. You know what I mean? Like come on, bridges collapsing. And then you got average everyday peon don't even, and the cold part is like I said again, they showing us this shit. I guarantee you somebody the Lord got awake enough that they see something happening, but not wake enough to know that how about you shot? Those type of scenarios terrify me. You know what I mean? Because it's like, damn, you know what I mean? Like the power of Yahweh shot. And it could be one little thing that wake them up, or it could be one little thing that keep them, you know what I mean? But whatever the thing, whatever the reason why the Lord didn't give them the truth is because it was his will. He's still, whoever that person is, still gonna be utilized for something because the Most High is the Father of spirits. But with that being said, I'm gonna end the lesson. I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Chakodesh with thumb. I want to say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat that they're listening and learning, Lord, willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the truth to you. I say shalom. Until next time, I'll come with another lesson. I say shalom, shalom, Kwam Yasharallah.